Hello. In this video, we will look at setting up margin profiles. Margin profiles allow you to set different groups of settings. For example, position liquidation settings, client notifications in case of a stop-out, leverage settings for different groups of instruments, and so on. Let's add a new margin profile. Go to Trading Settings, Margin Profiles, and click on the Add Margin Profile button and enter the name of the new profile. The option, Enter Leverages and Fractions instead of Percentages, allows input margin levels in percentages or fractions. We'll skip this option. The option, Non-Margin Account, means that assets cannot be purchased on margin and an investor must fund their full order with cash. We will skip this option. Let's take a look at the Margin Settings section. Here we will configure liquidation settings. Let's set the percentage of margin utilization at which a stop-out should trigger. When adding liquidation value percent, we also can see MetaTrader 5 margin style percent below. Let's add a percentage value of 300% and enable auto liquidation. If the auto function is enabled, the liquidation process will be triggered automatically when margin usage reaches specified value. Auto liquidation implements scenario listed below. All pending orders are canceled. If it is insufficient, the most unprofitable position will be closed. If it is insufficient, repeat previous step. After enabling auto liquidation, we see that the B-Book liquidation field appears. When enabled, liquidation can be performed using non-market conditions on a B-Book executor account to limit maximum client's loss when auto liquidation is triggered. Let's add a B-Book executor account which will act as a second side for auto liquidation trades if loss exceeds max loss percent setting. Max admissible client's loss as a result of auto liquidation. For example, if auto liquidation is set to 200%, this means that in the worst scenario for the client they lose 50% or more of their funds. But if these settings are set to 50%, all clients' loss above 50% will be eliminated by using non-market prices for auto liquidation trades. Let's set the maximum loss percentage. In our case, we will set it to 50%. Next, let's set other options for the new margin profile. Currency assets short allowed option means that when making a transaction with a delivery instrument, one of the currencies in the pair is allowed to take negative values. For example, a client trades Euro-USD deliverable currency. If this option is not enabled, then to make a transaction with Euro-USD delivery currency, he must have enough dollars in his account to buy euros and sell dollars. Let's enable this option. Crypto assets are short allowed. It is the same as the previous definition, but in terms of cryptocurrencies. Let's enable this option as well. Fix margin in account currency. When enabled, margin usage is fixed at the time of the order confirmation and not affected by market fluctuations or margin leverage changes in the future. We will skip this option. After selecting all the necessary options, it is time to set margin level warnings by clicking Add Margin Warnings. Here we can set value percent and warning text. Let's create a margin level warning with value percent 250% and add a message to it. Low margin, margin level reached 250%. Please deposit funds or close positions immediately to avoid liquidation. Critical level allows you to send a notification not only to the client, but also to the trader/employee whose role includes receiving such notifications. Since this is an important notification, we will enable this option. Click Save to save this margin warning. Let's create another margin level warning with value percent 200% and add a message to it. Low margin, margin level reached 200%. Please deposit funds. Click Save to save this margin warning. Finally, let's set margin leverages, which allow to set the level of margin requirements for different types of instruments. The levels are set by instrument groups. 3 options for setting margin for Forex are available: by currency, by position, and virtual. Leverage by currency is used when trading deliverable and non-deliverable currencies, and the margin is calculated from each specific currency involved in the transaction. Margin leverages by currency have 2 options. Cross. Currencies of currency pairs are crossed with each other. The difference between the amounts in the same currency is calculated and then leverage is applied. For example, if you have 2 positions EURUSD long and USD CHF long, then a negative amount in USD from the sell side will be added to the positive dollar amount on the buy side. Leverage will be applied to the total dollar amount in USD. Long-short max is calculated as follows. All short and all long currencies are calculated separately, and then the margin requirements are calculated in absolute value for each currency and each side. The highest amount will be taken as the margin requirement. Leverage by position. The used margin is calculated from the position/order and can be applied to any type of instrument. Leverage by virtual completely disables margin accounting for a group of instruments. Positions become virtual, and no financial result can be obtained from such positions. Let's add margin leverage for our instrument groups and use it by position. Option, margin in base currency, should be used only for instruments having a base asset of type currency. If the instrument's base asset is not currency, using this setting will result in an error. We will skip this option. Let's add an instrument group, select leverage option and set long and short leverages and click the Save button. Let's repeat the previous step with another instrument group. Add an instrument group, select leverage option and set long and short leverages and click the Save button. Currency leverages section designed for setting leverage percentage for each currency. You can manually add a value to each currency. You can select all currencies and add the same values to all currencies. Or you can select specific currencies by checking the box and add values for selected currencies. Let's add currency leverage 10% to all currencies. Let's add currency leverage 20% to US dollar and euro. You can also search for a specific currency using the search field. Let's find the pound sterling and add 100% currency leverage. Margin balance multipliers are margin levels charged on negative currency balances. Since the platform allows multi-currency accounts, at some point a client may have negative balances for specific currencies. Accordingly, you can set margin levels on these currencies as well. Let's select cryptocurrencies and add a 100% margin balance multiplier to Bitcoin. You can also import margin profiles in CSV format and schedule them by clicking the Import Margin Profile button. After applying all required settings, click Create, and the new margin profile will be created. To add a margin profile to the account, go to Access and click on the desired account. In the Account Settings field, click Edit. In the Margin Profile line, click the pencil button and select a margin profile, then click the check mark button. After clicking the check mark button, the warning window will appear, in which we will see an informative message about changes in the trading settings. Let's agree with changes and click Save. Now we see the notification that the account was updated. That's it. Setting up margin profiles is quite easy on the platform. Congratulations and see you next time.